And we're back. We're back for another week of fantasy football. Dude, oh my god, this has been a crazy week. First week back over like a long break of no football, and it just became all at once, man. Such a fucking good week for week one.
Such a stressful week, bro. Oh my god, so many downers for me.
Yeah.
Like, just so y'all know, we both lost our first game, but it's not over till the fat lady sings,
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna jump in right into our first matchup, and that is gonna be with your host. The boys are back in town, going against El Mencho, the 956. Last week, El Mencho had like the game of the week, and I'll say we doubted him, and he actually came up with the win and proved us wrong.
He was top scorer of the league last week.
Yeah.
So he has he has his eyes in the top prize, and the top prize happens to be right here. And he's the champ, and he proved it. And he proved that he's still the champ. Still our champ.
We're going to try and get him that trophy as soon as we can. But starting off with Adolfo's team, we're going to my top three players starting off is going to be his wide receiver, Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen, last week, he had an okay week. Like, Vikings lost, but he played pretty good. And for his second player is going to be David Johnson. David Johnson busted out week one against the Kansas City Chiefs. And I was like, man, what's David Johnson going to do? He's coming off from what team did he come from?
The Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, that's right. Coming from Arizona Cardinals, thinking, oh, he's an older running back, and he's not gonna. Maybe he might do something, maybe not. He proved everybody wrong and played the running game to his advantage, and really scored big this week. Going on to his last player is going to be Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce also had another monster week in week one, and he's going to continue on for the next following weeks. So he also had a touchdown, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
for sure.
All right, for our next player is going to have his three top players. It's going to be starting off. It's going to be Ezekiel Elliott. Man, they utilized him really good in the passing game this week. Even though they didn't win this week. This is a different Zeke that I've ever seen. This is not the Zeke that we've seen for years like before.
Yeah, he actually showed up to play that game, and I was really impressed. I was like, hey, that's why we paying him. That's why they're paying him.
Yeah, exactly. For his next player, it's going to be Cooper Kupp. And I don't have much to say about Cooper Kupp. I think Robert Woods had like a better game, but this could be his game to bounce back. So this is I'll say the sleeper on this team. And also for his next player is going to be Anthony Miller from the Chicago Bears. Like, he played a really amazing game. I think he got a touchdown. He also had let me take a look. He had 6 targets, 4 receptions, 76 receiving yards, and a receiving touchdown. Like, this dude just came out of fucking nowhere in that game.
Here's the question that I'm asking. During the whole game, I was asking this question: where is Anthony Robinson, bro? Miller just came and he stole the show from him.
Well, I feel like maybe Robinson doesn't want to be a Bear anymore. He's like deleting stuff from his Twitter, saying, cutting all connections to the Bears. So we might be seeing a trade in the next coming weeks. You never know.
Yeah. Probably end up in a better team too.
Yeah. And for my winner of this week, it's gonna have to be. If you're gonna have to be comparing for these top 3 players, you're gonna have Adam Thielen, and you're gonna have Cooper Kupp and David Johnson and Zeke Elliott. I don't know, man. I am just gonna have to. I just have to give it to El Mencho on this one.
Yeah, man. I see where you're coming from. He's the champ. And this is probably going to be my biggest obstacle for this season, trying to beat the champ when he's hot, when he's undefeated, and that's kind of hard to do. But I was hoping, I swear to God, I was like, oh, I was just leaning back. I mean, just kicking it back, being like, I got this week one. I'm gonna win for sure. I have 4 players left. He has 1 player left. I'm 10 points behind. No biggie. I got this. But the Titans didn't show up last week, and they ruined my chances for everything. So, I have to bounce back. I've never lost 2 games in a row. That's a good fact right there. So, yeah, I'll give it to Mancho, but I'm just gonna say it's not gonna be easy. I'm not gonna let myself, and it's gonna be a battle.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna pass it on to you and start off our next matchup.
All right, our next matchup, we got the Commissioner Hulk over here, Mr. Hulk Buster.
Yeah.
Who busted last week.
Yeah, I did. I did. Man, I had all the options for me. I had all the options going for me. I had 2 stud wide receivers, and both of them just didn't have their best week. They had a really tough matchup on both sides. So, I mean, maybe this week's different. You never know. This is where dreams are made, man.
Yep. This is why we wake up in the morning and say, hey, we're going to do this fantasy league because we're going to do it because we the champs. Nah. But but also you got to give him credit because his opponent, El Sicario de LA, that dude has a team, bro. Yeah. That dude has a team, and freaking Christian McCaffrey, man. Like, anyone with Christian McCaffrey is going to do good. So, and he was, I think, the 2nd or the 3rd top scorer of the league. So, yeah, I could see why you lost to him, You didn't lose to no scrub, so just be thankful for that. Yeah. And, yeah, let's kick it off with El Ilegal, Mr. Ulises right here, going against the Commissioner Hulk. All right, for Mr. Ulises' top 3 players, I'm going to break it down for you. For his top player, El Ilegal, probably his favorite player in his roster right now, is Diggs, man. Stefon Diggs. You know why I chose him as his number 1 top player of this week? He's going against the Miami Dolphins, who last year they were money. Whoever was going against Miami, start them, start them because they'll get you points. I don't know about this year. Their defense looked all right against Cam Newton, but you don't know if Cam Newton's team is actually good because, I mean, they just went against the Dolphins. I mean, come at me when they beat the Saints or the Chiefs, then I'll give them credit, but they beat the Dolphins. They barely beat them too, so nah. So, yeah, Stefon Diggs is number 1 player. His number 2 player is going to have to be Alvin Kamara, bro. This guy balled out last week, and he was basically doing everything for the Saints. I can't say the same thing about Michael Thomas, so Alvin Kamara had to carry that team. So, it's going to be him. His number 2 player, though, it's going to have to be Tyreek Hill, man. Tyreek Hill started off a little bit slow last week. He still got a decent number of points and a touchdown, I think. But, Tyreek Hill, he's a Tyreek Hill, man. I had him last year. He helped me a lot last year. So yeah, I'm going to have to give it to Tyreek Hill. And for Commissioner Hulk, his team, let's go, baby. His number 1 player, of course, is going to have to be Chris Godwin, man. Chris Godwin, he was so good. He had a pretty good game last week, but the Saints defense is no joke, man. Saints, that team's hard. If you're going against the Saints, man, don't start that player.
No, Lattimore is no joke.
Yeah, man.
He's probably, I'm saying, the best cornerback in the league ever. Yeah.
He's not a freaking actor like Ramsey,
No. Who's it? I think he's better than Richard Sherman.
Yeah.
I'll just say that. I think he's younger, and he's hungry, man, and he's not gonna let anybody catch any balls.
Yeah. I would say that he's even better than maybe Jalen Ramsey. When he doesn't cheat.
Yeah. Fuck Jalen Ramsey.
Fuck Jalen Ramsey. Yeah. And also the other top two paid cornerback, which is Byron Jones. He was an ex-Cowboy. He's like, I think he's number 1 or number 2 in top paid cornerback, and he's with the Dolphins now, so maybe that's why their defense is a little better, but you never know. All right, let's go for it with his second player. His second player would be Robert Woods, man. Robert Woods went off on my Cowboys last week. Like, it was like straight up every time I saw like the Rams do a play, it'd be number 17 right there. Number 17, number 17, number 17. I'm like, bro, don't you have another receiver? Like, come on.
Yeah. All he needed was a touchdown.
The first 3 plays, I think, were to Robert Woods. I was like, is he just gonna do the whole game, or what the heck? Like,
he had a rushing attempt for like
yeah, I was like,
yards. What wide receiver rushes, man?
Yeah. So my respects to Mr. Woods. Yeah. He's gonna be his
looking
number
at it.
2.
Yeah. So he had a rushing attempt, 14 yards. He had 8 targets, 6 receptions, and 105 receiving yards. I was looking at the top receiving yards this morning, and like he was in the top 10 at least. So if you have him in the other leagues, man, start him.
Cool. Also, for his last and final top player that I think he'll do pretty good in this game, even though it's against the Saints. It's gonna have to be Darren Waller, man. Darren Waller, he did pretty good last week. He didn't do great, but he did good. He looks like he's gonna be consistent. Like, for sure, 10 points every game, and he might blow out some games like he did last year.
Yeah.
But going against the Saints defense, bro, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Derek Carr's top option, bro. Because who's the quarterback's best friend? His tight end. Like, when no one's open and no one's there in the long run, he's gonna look for those short, easy passes, and he's just gonna ball out, bro.
Exactly.
So yeah. So with that said, Godwin, Waller, and Woods against Tyreek Hill, Diggs, and Kamara. I kind of don't like Illegal's other players, like Scott, man, and Engram. Like, his defense did ass last week. I think they were the only defense that got like negative points. I was like, how you get negative 4 points as a fucking
fact check alert? Fact check alert. He actually got negative 4 points.
Negative 4 points? Yeah. Yeah, man. I feel like Commissioner Hulk's gonna make a comeback right here. And yeah, he's for sure gonna make a comeback, and yeah, it's gonna be a close game. It's gonna be a really, really, really close game. It's gonna end up on whose running backs do better.
Knowing my luck, it's probably gonna be Uli, so I'll give it to Uli on this one. So it's a 1-1. It's literally a flip of a coin. It could be either one. One team could have a good week. And for our next matchup, we have Christian's team going against your Hurst Nightmare. Man, this is a pretty tough matchup. We're going against a veteran versus one of the top scorers of this week with Christian's team. On Christian's team, we're gonna start off with. I'm gonna have to give it to Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper this week, he had a pretty good game, pretty average. He had a lot of fucking targets this week. He was only able to catch, so he had 14 targets, 10 receptions, and 81 yards. All he was missing was a touchdown. And the Rams defense was pretty good. Not talking about Jalen Ramsey, but but man, yeah, he's gonna have a good week this against the Atlanta Falcons. I feel like this might want to be a really high scoring game. Kind of like how the Seahawks and Atlanta were projected to have a high scoring game. So I think Amari Cooper's going to get a touchdown on this one. For my next player, it's going to be Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake last week had 60 rushing attempts, 60 rushing yards, a rushing touchdown, and he also had like 2 receptions. Not from that many yards, like 5 yards, but this dude, like, he's a beast on the field and going against the Washington Redskins. Well, Washington Redskins is no joke this year too. They showed this week that they're like hungry for like wins this year. Going against their division rival, the Philadelphia Eagles, and they just like destroyed them, man.
That was a 0-17 lead by the Eagles, bro. They were shutting out the Redskins, and out of nowhere, dude, 27 unanswered points, and they shut down the Eagles. 17-27, I think it was the score. Let me check. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that was it. But
yeah, the score was 24-20.
Oh my god!
And for the
no, I'm right. It was 27-17. They completely shut out the Eagles.
And for my last pick on Christian's team, it's gonna have to be Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is going against the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans had to go against Travis Kelce, and they ended up just letting him have a touchdown. So like another beast tight end taking on the Houston Texans, and they're just gonna let the tight end do their thing, man. There's nothing stopping Mark Andrews from balling out this game and getting another touchdown. That's another prediction for me.
Mm-hmm.
Going on for Mr. Roberts' team, your Hurst nightmare. Well, him losing last week wasn't a nightmare. Well, it was for him.
Yeah, it was for him. Bro, I think he was like the second lowest scorer or something like that. Like, dude, I did not expect that, bro. I never expected Robert to be one of the lowest scorers ever. But this is fantasy. That's what happens. When you don't have Christian McCaffrey on your side.
Yeah,
changer.
Man, I mean, his team still looks good. His bench still looks pretty good. So like he could from the time that we were recording this and the time that he picks a player to be on his team, it could change at any moment. But for right now, at the time that we're recording and we're looking at his team, we're gonna start off with DJ Chark. They are going to be taking the Tennessee Titans. DJ Chark this week didn't have the best play time this week. He had 3 targets, catching all of them for 25 yards, and he also got a touchdown. I'll give him that. So, this team going against the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans showed last night that I don't know. There's something off about them that
their offense wasn't the same, bro. Like,
oh.
Like maybe the Denver's defense got really good or something, but I mean the Titans still won,
Yeah.
That close of a game with the Broncos, dude, you were beating everyone last year, bro. Like sweeping them too, like.
Yeah.
Like when I see what they did to the Ravens last year, and then what they did with the Broncos last week, I'm like, dude, this is not the same team. Something's going on. I don't know, but yeah.
And for my next pick, it's going to be Clyde Edwards-Helaire, man. What a start for a rookie running back coming out of LSU, and oh man, he had like one of the best like games of that he's had so far. Going against who did he go against? He went against the Houston Texans in his first game. He had 25 rushing attempts. 25. That's they utilize the fuck out of him.
That's probably the most any running back has ever gotten.
Yeah.
Like this past week.
138 rushing yards, a rushing touchdown, and like a few like pass catches. Like this dude's a monster.
Hmm.
He is going against a tougher defense, going against the LA Chargers, but I think the Chiefs are going to utilize him again wisely, and he's going to have another monster week. Going on for his last and final player, it's going to be. You know what? I'll give Dak Prescott the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to give him the top scorer of Robert's team. He's
Hmm.
going to go against the Atlanta Falcons. Let's see. Last week for week 1, he had 266 passing yards, passing touchdown. He rushed a little bit for 30 yards, which is pretty good. And I see big things going on for this next game. What do you think?
Yeah, man, he has to bounce back, man. Like Dak Prescott was the only player from the Cowboys who was playing like shit, bro. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Let me cut that out. Let me cut that out. can can we say bad words in here?
Yes,
Yes.
probably
All
not,
right.
but I don't give a fuck.
All right. Yeah. Whatever. This is just for a little bit.
Fuck,
If we
fuck,
don't make it
fuck,
big, we
fuck,
don't make
fuck.
it big. Whatever. What? Mind your business. Mind your business. But yeah, man. I feel like Dak's gonna make a comeback for sure. For sure.
And for our winner, I'm just gonna have to give it to. Sorry, Robert. Until you prove me wrong and you bounce back, I'm just gonna have to give it to Christian on this one.
I'm looking at the matchups. I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one.
Okay.
Yes, I think Robert's gonna make a comeback this week. Especially, um, well, I would give some advice for him to maybe not start Robinson, or maybe for Christian not to start James Conner, because he's injured, and
Well,
those are gonna be. It's gonna depend on who they put in for those players.
yeah.
Because I can see their lineup changing, and waivers is tonight. Like everyone's gonna get their players that they asked for tonight if they outbidded the other players, and teams are gonna change a little bit. Especially the benches. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna have to give it to Robert, man, because those running backs, Saquon Barkley, Edwards, and Mixon, like if all three of them blow up the same day, bro, I don't think anyone could beat them if that were to happen. That's probably what he went in trying to do, but Saquon disappointed and uh, Mixon disappointed too. It was just Edwards that was just going off.
Yeah.
But fun fact, Ben Roethlisberger had more rushing yards than Saquon Barkley last week. He had 9 rushing yards and Saquon Barkley had 6. So
Hey man, that was a tough defense too.
yeah, man. Like I was really impressed by the Steelers defense. I was like, dude, same defense that I remember from last year. But yeah, I'm
Exactly.
gonna have to give it to Robert for that.
Okay. So this is 50-50. Yeah, I can go either way. Just depends on who has that magic on that night, you know.
Only one losing is me, of course, with El Mencho. Whatever, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Alrighty. You want to take it off on our next matchup?
Oh, yes, let me go over here. My next matchup is El Sicario de LA going against another LA player from Louisiana, El Azteca. You know, Azteca came out short with El Mencho last week, and El Sicario de LA beat his own flesh and blood, and he did pretty good too. So, it's either he's gonna here. It's either who's gonna go 2-0 or who's gonna go 0-2. You know,
Yeah.
or maybe 1-1. But I feel like it's more on the who's gonna have 2 wins or 2 losses because it's gonna be pretty crazy. But let's start off with El Sicario de LA's best player. Of course, this is never going to change for me. El Sicario's best player, Christian McCaffrey. You know, that dude was a monster, even with a new quarterback and everything. Like, dude still put up almost 30 points, 28.40 to be exact. He had 23 rushing attempts, one less than Edwards, like 96 yards, two rushing touchdowns, four targets and three receptions with 38 yards. Dude, that's like 13 yards per reception. But yeah, for sure, Christian McCaffrey is going to be my top player for him this week and all the weeks, unless they're going against the Steelers, like, bro. But yeah, for his second player right here, it's going to have to be. I'm going to have to give it to Zach Ertz, man. Zach Ertz. The Eagles aren't looking good at all. Like, I was looking at their wide receiver core, and nah, dude. Like, not even Jackson's doing anything.
Man, you sure about Zach Ertz? Because Dallas Goedert outplayed him this week.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I mean,
yeah,
Zach Ertz still did pretty good,
Yeah, it could have bounced back to him.
Yeah, it could go bounce back to him. Like, straight up, like, Goddard and Zach Ertz had more like receptions than any of their wide receivers, bro. That's why I was like, whoa, like, what's going on with the wide receivers? So for sure, Goddard and Zach Ertz is gonna make a big impact for sure. But for his third player, it's gonna have to be, man. I feel like it's gonna have to be Russell Wilson, man. Russell Wilson, especially going against that New England defense, they're gonna have his wide receivers covered all day, every day. It's gonna be mostly a running game, I think. And also, when he's passing, he's gonna see that no one's open, and I feel like he's just gonna rush into it and get that TD, like he always does. Russell Wilson's gonna do Russell Wilson, and he's gonna do Russell Wilson things, and they're gonna be amazing. And yeah, I feel like he's gonna ball out against that New England defense. They're already making a bunch of videos and commercials about their game. It's a Sunday night game too, so it's like, oh, repeat Super Bowl. I don't know what number, but yeah, it's gonna be a really, really good game, and I think Russell Wilson's gonna be carrying them to victory. I think Seattle would win that game against the Patriots. But yeah, those are my three players: Russell Wilson, McCaffrey, and Zach Ertz. And as for El Azteca over here, Patrick Mahomes, man, he had 3 touchdown passes. This guy's a monster, and he could also rush. And we've seen him rush for touchdowns before. So he didn't do much rushing last week, but he didn't do any rushing at all last week. But he will soon enough. And like, when he does, he usually picks the perfect moments to rush, and they always end in scores. So I'm gonna have to go with Patty Mahomes, Super Bowl champ over here. For his number 2 player, I'm gonna have to go with Julio Jones, man. My Dallas Cowboy defense, their corners aren't the same. Diggs, man, Diggs has been impressing me a lot, but it's Julio Jones, dude. You're not gonna cover Julio Jones. No one in the Dallas Cowboy defense is gonna cover Julio Jones, I think.
No.
And I mean, if you can't cover Woods, Cooper, Kupp, and it's not gonna happen. You're not gonna cover Julio Jones. He's gonna be balling out. For his third teammate, it's gonna have to be. I'm gonna have to give it to Chris Carson, man. Like I said, that game is gonna be a rushing game for Seattle. Their receivers are gonna be covered. It's just gonna be all Chris Carson. He might get injured though. He has a history of getting injured. So if they just utilize him like a lot that game, like, he has a big chance of getting injured. But he's gonna be doing super good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's your pick for the winner of this week?
The winner of this week, man. That's a tough pick right here. Looking at their whole team as a whole.
Well, I have an idea. You want me to just say something?
What?
My pick is just gonna have to go with my brother on this one.
Yeah.
You know, he has Russell Wilson. I'll give him that. He also has Juju Smith-Schuster, who had like a really good fucking game last night.
I was gonna pick him too, but they're going against that Denver defense, bro, who didn't let the Titans do much, you know. And
true that.
So that's why I was a little bit iffy about that. So
I mean, that's what they said about the Giants defense too, and they were able to open it up, and it's also a home game. So
yeah,
more power to them.
This home game.
And they also have Mike Evans. Yeah. He also has Mike Evans going against the Carolina Panthers. You know, we saw that he was supposed to not even play, and he ended up playing. He had a first week for a questionable player, and then he has Christian McCaffrey, he has Nick Chubb, Zach Ertz, Raheem Mostert had a monster game last week, and also he has the Pittsburgh defense, which we talked about earlier in the show.
Yeah, for sure. I'm have to agree with you and say that too. Yeah, it's gonna have to be Manolo for all the same reasons. Pittsburgh defense, Mostert, like that dude can ball out out of nowhere sometimes too. If he freaking balled out last week,
he got 25
points.
Let me see, if I remember correctly, he rushed for like 60 some yards, like in the game, like. Or was it? I think it might have been a catch, but either way, he ran for 60 yards, and he scored a lot of points on that play. And
I just got news on my phone right here that Le'Veon Bell is in IR right now.
Oh no!
Yep, he's IR. So those who have Le'Veon Bell, try to trade him, get a good trade out of it. Maybe drop him if he's out for the season or something.
I'm hearing that he's able to return in 3 weeks. Possibly. So
3 weeks.
Yeah. That's not too bad. Stash him, or trade him. Do what you got to do. Save your team.
Do you, baby? Do you? Or you know what? Put him on waivers. You could get rid of him and just sit back, relax, watch all those idiots spend all their cash on waivers for Le'Veon Bell. And just have better chances in waivers in the future. For yourself is one thing to think about.
True that. Alrighty, we're gonna go into our match of the week.
Match of the week.
And this match of the week is like so hot. Like my fucking scouter is breaking. Like, oh my god,
dude,
this is over 9,000.
It's over fucking 9,000. But bro, yeah, it's gonna be an insane good game. 2 undefeated teams going at it. There's no chance they're gonna stay undefeated unless they tie, which I'm waiting to see a tie in this league.
I mean, Ricky Bobby's team has like a history of tying, and I have a history of tying. Like, It could happen again. I mean, with this scoring. Like we've had like some close games, and like it's come down to the wire of like who's gonna win by a couple points. But starting off, I'll start it off with let me just say this matchup is gonna be against El Paisano versus Mr. Ricky Bobby. With Mr. El Paisano's team, I'm gonna start it off, man. Speaking about like off the charts, man, off the fucking charts. We have Davante Adams, like who had one of the most craziest fucking games ever, man. Dude, like this is like the number one wide receiver out right now. Like if you have him and you're able to draft him in your leagues, man, you are one lucky son of a bitch. let me just do the breakdown for Mr. Davante Adams. Mr. Davante Adams ended up with 41 fantasy points, man. Like he had 17 targets, 14 receptions, 156 yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. Crazy, man. Like 41 points. Like that's doubling of what a regular quarterback even scores. Man, oh, I'm so excited about for that player. Going on for his next top player, I'm gonna have to give it to Dalvin Cook, who also had like a monster game. Mr. Dalvin Cook who went against the Green Bay Packers, went for 12 rushing attempts, 50 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 receptions, but he ended up losing 2 yards. But who cares? When you're Dalvin Cook, you're not a wide receiver. You're a running back, and you're really going for those rushing yards. And for his last player, I'm just gonna have to give it to Keenan Allen. He didn't have the best game last week, but it could be his game to bounce back and be a top scorer for his team.
Yeah, true that.
Now, what are your top 3 players for Mr. Ricky Bob?
For Mr. Ricky Bobby, also known as the dude that ruined my dreams last week and my hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
But, for his top players, I'm going to have, of course, the man, the myth, the legend. He's soon to get caught by the Madden curse, I feel like he's going to get the Madden curse this year. Screw it. Mr. Lamar Jackson, man. Lamar Jackson's going to go to Houston, and he's going to prove that he could do better than Patrick Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes did absolutely amazing that game, and that dude doesn't rush much. And guess what? Lamar Jackson does. So when he doesn't have anyone to pass it to, you best believe he's gonna go and get those rushing yards.
And we saw this with David Johnson. Like the Kansas City Chiefs rushing defense is not that good. I'll just say that it's not that they were not able to stop David Johnson. You think they're gonna able to stop like this quarterback's rushing attempts? No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hell no. Like once he breaks free, he's out, man. Like talking 275 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 7 rushing attempts, and 45 yards rushing. Like, bro, he had a total of like 335 yards just by himself, carrying the team, like always. But besides him, I'm gonna have to go with DeAndre Hopkins, man. This dude proves he could go with any team he wants, and he'll still be a top 3 wide receiver, dude. Like,
there's some magical about DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray this year. They are like the duo. Like I said it before, this is the magic duo that you want to have.
Yeah, I could see that connection, and they're gonna be going against that Washington defense, so this is where we're gonna see what that Washington defense has. They beat the Big Bird already, the Eagles. Now they're gonna go against the Cardinals. So let's see how it goes. But as for his number 3 player for his top 3, I was gonna say Melvin Gordon, but he's going against that Pittsburgh defense, who's just insane. Yeah, so
they stopped Saquon Barkley. You think they're gonna let Melvin Gordon go through? No, he's gonna end up with negative yards, I think.
Yeah, and so with that said, I'm gonna have to go with I'm gonna have to go with Singletary, man. Singletary, I know he only had 9 rushing attempts, but he had 30 yards. But they've been using him for receiving mostly, so. Nah, you know what? I'm looking at this guy's stats, and he's not even that good. I'm gonna change my number 3.
Okay.
So yeah, number 3, not Melvin Gordon, because that Pittsburgh defense is legit. So I'm gonna have to go with George Kittle. George Kittle, even though he's questionable right now, I feel like he's still gonna play, especially against the Jets, man. Like against the Jets, I feel like he's just gonna get one of those 80-yard touchdowns and just like win the game.
Yeah.
And, you know, like he always does. He had a pretty decent game last week. He didn't do amazing. He had one rush attempt for some reason, got 9 yards out of it. Had 5 targets, 4 receptions, and 44 yards per reception. So this dude's getting 11 yards per reception, getting you first down points and everything. You know, for sure they'll try to use him more, especially against this Jets team. So yeah, but with that said, for my winner, I think it's gonna have to be El Paisano. I'm gonna have to give it to Beto, bro. He came and he proved that no matter if he's a noob, you know, his first year in fantasy or whatever, this dude destroyed the veteran.
It's not his first year. He's played the year before with us. But
but that wasn't for money though.
No, but yeah, he has the same experience as either you or me in fantasy, so
True that.
Give him that. But go on.
But yeah, but not compared to Mr. Robert Soto over here, who was our top scorer last year and also the veteran, bro. The only dude with a platinum. And he came and he just turned that ass up, bro. Like Beto's team is looking insanely good.
Yeah.
He's the man to beat right now besides El Mencho. Like, I just want to see him and El Mencho go at it, bro. But what's it called? He's going against the undefeated team of Ricky Bobby over here. And in my eyes, I do not think Ricky Bobby has a good team. Like, I think he has a pretty, like, más o menos team, but not scary, bro. Like, I was, like, 0% scared of this guy's team last week. But he still beat me, but my team just choked it, bro. Like, I've never seen the Titans play that bad before, but, you know, whatever. My kicker, bro, oh, my God. We were, like, on the chat yesterday just making fun of my kicker, man. He missed like 5 field goals. Like, dude was gonna give me like 15 points. He ended up giving me like 1.
Yeah.
Like, dude. So yeah, I'm gonna have to give it to Beto on this one. I feel like Beto's gonna like sweep Ricky Bobby for sure.
Well, I'm gonna have to strongly agree with your pick.
Yeah.
Beto has the players that can ball out again with, you know, Devontae Adams, Dalvin Cook. You know, he just has the players for this week, and I think he's gonna win. So I have to give it to Mr. El Paisano. And with that, we're gonna have to wrap things up, and we'll see you next week on the next episode of Helmet to Helmet.
Get ready for waivers.
See you next time.